So that's how we fix Williams triple action. Hey, this is a Gottlieb High Hand. How'd that happen? So this machine, a friend of mine dug it out of somewhere. I don't know where he got it. He got it for fairly cheap. And I think his intention was to sort of fix it up and do whatever. But then he sold it to me for the same price he got it for because he just didn't want to deal with it. So it's had some love over the years. Someone lit it on fire. Mark put his name. Mark, why do you do that? Mark wrote his name in it. It's missing some stuff up here. On the side, someone scratched in, I love socks. I don't think that's originally what it said, but it says it now. There's stickers, there's little script, there's a heart on that side that it has a nice smiley face on it. Front is kind of falling apart. The coin door's been torn open. Yeah, it's kind of a mess, but I love it. I think it's cool. And the price was right. So, you know, it'll be a good, the playfield's actually not in bad shape. So it's only missing a tiny little bit of paint. And so I'll assess it and see if I need to do any more to it. I could touch that up a little bit. It's got all the original drop targets. The plastics are in good shape. One's a little warpy, but you know, that happens. Back glass is not too bad. I think it'll be a good playing machine, but it has a problem. So kind of related to triple action. Let's have a look. All right, so using the same theory that we did with the high hand, the 1000 reel is not stopping, it's just cycling. I actually haven't looked at this machine yet, so I don't know. I knew it had this problem before I brought it home. So let's actually go back there and look, because I haven't dug into this yet, but I think it's probably gonna be pretty simple. All right, so I apologize, my cameras are sort of in the way because that's how it goes. So like I said, I haven't dug into this at all. We know it's the 1000 score reel, but you know what's interesting is that there's only 4 here, right? There isn't a way to score 1 point. So on some of the old EM machines, they actually, the one score reel is fake. So it's actually just a bit of plastic behind the window back here. Sometimes I actually painted it on the window, but this one has a fake one. So we know that's 1, 10s, 100s, so it's this one right here. So let's look. I'm gonna grab another little handheld camera and let's sort of dig around and see if we can see what's going on. And the first thing that I notice on this is that this seems broken. The wire looks attached, but it actually seems, this might be our problem here. Now, one of the cool things about the Gottlieb wedge heads is that they're a lot easier to mess with than the Williams one was. So if you look underneath here, you can see they have these little plastic tabs. These push off to the side, and then you can just, let's see if I can get in there. Can't do it with one hand. You push it to the side, and then this whole assembly will pop out, which is pretty neat. Makes getting at it a whole lot easier. So all of those solder points look good. So I think it's our coil. Seems attached. Curious. All right, so why don't let's pop this back in. What I'm gonna do, first thing I'm gonna try is, just because I think that this is our problem, slide this guy back in place. And it clicks and locks, which is pretty handy. I'm gonna reset this. I'm just going to solder that in place. So let me get my solder gun ready again. Okay, so this probably actually, now that I think about it, this is not the problem, because we know that the coil is working because the wheel advances, right? So we know that this is actually functioning, but we don't want to leave this broken. So we will fix this for now. A little more solder on that. Get in there. This is a terrible way to do this. This all should be cleaned, but this machine has a whole lot, it needs a whole lot more love. So I'm not going to worry about that one. Just like this one, I'm not going to worry about this one for now. So, all right, that's soldered together. I don't think that's going to fix the problem, but let's try it. No. So probably what it's doing is that it doesn't know when it resets. So let's slide this out and see if we can have a look. All of those look good. I could continuity test these if I really wanted to. That looks a little dodgy. This whole wire is stripped up here, but it looks like it's making a connection. Can I see the switches? Where are you, switches? It's kind of hard to get in here so you can see it. I'm trying to do this in a way I can see the switches as it advances. All right, so they opened up. This is reset. This is at 0. So this is where the switches are supposed to look like at 0. And I don't know if that's supposed to be together or not. Why don't we compare it? Because one of them, this middle one, now I'm just guessing here because that's part of the game. This one, well, while it's at 0, this one is open at the top. This one is open, but the back one is closed. And then the bottom two are closed. Let's see what another one that works looks like. That's a little bit easier to see. As I was editing the video, I realized I wasn't doing a very good job demonstrating what I was doing and holding the score reels in a position that the camera could see. So I went back, I took some pictures, and instead you will get these nice still images and a voiceover. So what I'm doing is I'm comparing the 1000 score reel with the 100 score reel. Now we know the 100 score reel is working, so I want to make sure that the switch settings match. And there's 3 switch settings on score reels. There's 0, there's numbers 1 through 8, and there's 9. And each one of those is going to have a different switch setting. So if we look at the score reel, this is the 100 score reel. If we look at this, we'll see on 0, moving left to right, the 3 banks of switches, we have open, open, and closed. If we go to one of the number settings, those switches change. They go to open, closed, open. If we go to 9, it's different. So 9 is closed, closed, and open. Now these machines are dumb. They don't actually know what number they're counting. There's no way for them to keep track of it or add it or do any of that nonsense. It's just a basic machine. So if you're at 90 and you need to go to 100, it needs to know that when it gets to 9, it needs to send a signal to the switch next to it to bounce that one forward one. So this very first switch setting is that switch. If we look at the 10,000 reel, you'll notice that that first switch, it's missing because there's no 100,000. There's nothing to advance to. So I got out my leaf switch adjuster tool gizmo thingy, and I adjusted all of the switches on the 1000 score reel to match the ones on the 100, and let's see what happens. Well, that's a positive thing. Still cycling, no ball, I'll bet. Let's throw a ball in it. Let's try it. Put a ball in. Let's see what happens. No, still doesn't work. I've got the hood up. Okay, so I poked around a little bit more in this, and the good news is that I can screw up my I can add scores to my score reels, and it does cycle through and it will reset my score reels. So it wasn't as easy fix as the triple action, unfortunately. But remember how I said earlier how there's a sequence of events that have to take place. So the motor spins, it fires a whole bunch of different relays. All of those, so you have bonus scores, that the stepper units on bonuses that need to reset. You have the ones on the player scores, those need to reset. Everything has to reset for it to kick on the game. So there's something still on here that isn't resetting as it's supposed to. The bad news is I need to go through and find that. The good news is I have stuff to make videos about. Anyway, so we fixed triple action. That's awesome. We did not fix high hand. And this thing, you know, it needs a good going through. It actually doesn't look too bad under here, but I do have a lot of like all the switches and all the connectors, there's a fair amount of oxidation. So probably with this, what I'll do is I'll probably clean some of that up first before I start really digging into this. Because if you have a block of connectors that are plugged in and they're not making a good connection, you're gonna be kind of hunting ghosts, really. I mean, you can verify that they're making connections with a continuity test. That's a way to do it. There's a whole bunch back here. There's some in the front. There's some in the back boxes. So, but it needs to be cleaned anyway. So I can just, you know, clean those up with a little bit of vinegar and some water, and all that oxidation will fall off, and kind of go from there. So I'll find out the order that this resets, and I will go through in order. I'll go through and make sure that each one of those elements resets properly, and see where that gets me. Anyway, so that's the video, and thanks for watching.